again, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Can't Wait, Sounds Terrible. And we are sponsored by the Rod Blagojevich Gubernatorial Library. It's golden, and you can contribute in cash. That's preferred. There'll be some collections taking place at Taste of Roselle this summer. Producer Grace is spinning the dials. That's Eleni. That's Patrick, Rachel, Natalie. I'm Dennis. And this is Terribleness. And we are giddy with excitement over the anticipation of the Obama Presidential Library, which is opening this week, as we tape this exciting edition. And at this point, the stock of the 44th president, claimed by Chicago as its very own, is rising faster than SpaceX. But in Chicago, it's nice to talk about national politics, but all politics is really local. So let's go to the Chicago mayor's race. So the journalistic giants at Illinois Politico Playbook have announced that former alderman, current Cook County Board of Review member George Cardenas is planning to launch his kickoff. He may be kicking off as we speak. He was an ally of all the former mayors. He served under Lori Lightfoot, Rahm Emanuel, Richard M. Daley. He was deputy floor leader to Lori Lightfoot, joining a crowded field. Patrick, Alderman, now Board of Reviewer Cardenas has always been one of your favorite elected officials. So in June of 2014, the Chicago Tribune reported that a former employee in his aldermanic office alleged in a lawsuit that the alderman was under federal investigation, which, Chicago alderman, potato, and that the alderman fired her a day after she spoke with FBI agents about his office. The Tribune said Cardenas, an alderman since 2003, who represents part of the South and Southwest sides, denied being under investigation. He said that Maria G. Chavez, the plaintiff, resigned. She said in the suit that she told a 12th Ward superintendent about her conversation that evening after the agents left. The next day, she said she was fired, though her termination letter was incorrectly dated. So that happened. And then, just to emphasize the fact that George Cardenas is a man of no convictions and continued to serve in city office. And in September of 2020, the Chicago Sun-Times reported that Cardenas would not talk about the $6,000 campaign contributions he got from a business partner, Teresa Sia, I don't know how to pronounce that, Patrick, maybe you recall, about their trips to Miami and Los Angeles seeking hospitals to accept their Caribbean medical students. He also wouldn't talk with Tim Novak at the Sun-Times about the $5,000 watch he got as a bonus from that consulting firm, and wouldn't return it when a hospital decided against working with the company after all. So he, as I said, has no convictions. But he has the convictions enough to run for public office. Patrick, I think this goes to the point we had in our recent episode about what the hell is a scandal anymore?
Ain't that true? I recall you passing along many years ago when I was very young this aged advice: the more you climb the ladder, the more your ass sticks out. And which was passed on to you on a state airplane. So that was that as you were traversing back. So that's, we have to report it as it was told to you on the airplane.
By the Honorable State Senator Louis Viverito.
Exactly, who I believe got it from some other aged burnt souls. But, to then also take another phrase from former Director Comey, where he said, Lordy, let there be the tapes, I believe. Those election filing reports are still there. And so if one were to want to look through that glorious history from 12 years ago, I'm going to guess there haven't been a lot of amendments and cleanups to what the Sun-Times was reporting on. And if you're going to make yourself a potential challenger, some folks can go it's newsworthy to review your prior history.
Well, Natalie, the bar just keeps going higher for us to merit any outrage or prosecutorial actions for corruption in Chicago.
Well, ultimate fighting on the White House grounds, and the bar is. I mean, there's no like limbo. You're just walking underneath it. So
You're making that up. If we put this in a time capsule, no one's going to believe you. That's crazy talk. While I got you, Natalie, because I know that Eleni will not want to talk about this.
no,
The Tribune story about Alderman Cardenas was written by former Tribune reporter Hal Dardick, who went on to work for Maria Pappas, the Cook County treasurer. And she's a former counselor. She has a law degree, nearly 30 years in county office. She also studied music while growing up in Warwood, West Virginia, which is why, naturally, she was at a German bar the other day singing John Denver's Country Road. In fact, she's been posting her musical performances all over the interwebs.
I think she does. Doesn't she do like baton twirling too?
She was also a baton twirler and majorette in her day, and will still take out the baton every once in a while, if not to give an employee a stern, threatening beating, but she will entertain. She is running for mayor, and I think it's going to be hard to outwork her.
Very true. I mean, she is an Energizer bunny, hence her lengthy track record of public service. I just like question the amount of crazy that will happen. I just don't know how you get around that. So
Well, producer Grace has a sampling of her singing John Denver's Greatest,
I can't wait.
and we can't wait. It sounds beautiful. Give it a second here. So, Rachel, maybe we should have a sing-off among the different candidates. There's enough people that have thrown their hat in the ring that we could have a pretty good choir.
I mean, that might work. My question is everyone going to wear, like Maria Pappas does, a t-shirt that just says in the biggest possible letters, Maria Pappas? Because I saw one of those. And the other competition I think we could consider among all the candidates is who has the weirdest giveaway. She's definitely winning that with that calendar she puts together every year, which is another thing you could put in a time capsule and have people question whether or not it was real. So,
Of the
yeah, the calendar's
Eleni, I
wild.
know I said I really wouldn't talk to you about the Pappas campaign, but she could give away boas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's taking any of these candidates seriously right now until we wait to see if Alexi's going to enter the race. I think that's what everyone's waiting for, the big
Funny
decision.
that you would mention that, your fellow Greek American. So there continues
Another
to
fellow Greek American we get to talk about.
they're both going for the Greek vote.
Yeah.
there appears to be a very good chance that Alexei will be taking a shot at mayor. But in the meantime, producer Grace has a little video of him taking a bunch of shots from beyond the arc at the Obama Presidential Library's basketball court, which is a gleaming, beautiful basketball court. Naturally, that's going to be at your presidential center. And he got early access and was just raining three-pointers. I mean, he did not miss one from beyond the three-point line. I don't know much about his position on how to fix the bankrupt Chicago pensions or its declining business environment, Eleni, but the man can shoot the rock.
Yeah, no, he's always been a very avid basketball player, so
Well,
hopefully he's as good at being mayor as he is at basketball will be fine. But I don't know. I'm glad he recovered though. He had that horrible knee injury, I think, that we saw him crutching around for like a year. So seems like he made full recovery.
It does.
This is at the East Bank Club where you work out for the most part of the day. Your recovery is going to be fast, and your 3-point shot is going to be really sharp.
Yep.
Well, that's interesting observation, and I have to admit, he does have these sexy workout videos, so I'm a little jealous of that, and I'm very jealous of his 3-point shots because I was really beyond 15 feet. It was brick city for me. I was usually in the paint like the plugger that I am. So Rachel and really the whole team can answer this question. Riddle me this. Can being a hottie who works out and play basketball be enough to get elected mayor in this current micro attention economy that we're in?
I mean, I guess we'll find out, right? He's certainly leaned into that. He's also leaned into wet t-shirt photos. So he has really leaned into the hottie persona. We'll see if it works.
I mean, being a hottie with $20 million doesn't hurt.
Yeah. The 20 million probably helps more than being a
It
hottie.
probably tips.
Combination,
Yeah, it's a good combo.
Yeah.
I just judge him by the content of his policy ideas, not his shirt or his bank account. I guess that's just call me an oldie.
You can't even vote for him, so what are you talking about?
Well, we'll see what's
I
going
do
on
wonder
with that.
though, like that was an epic video, but it's also like posting yourself on a private jet. Like, check me out. I got the early access to shoot hoops at the. I don't know. I mean, it would have to me been more awesome. It had been a park district park in the middle of the day, and there were like a lot of people around. Kind of shows you got friends in high places and $20 million in your campaign account.
Old habits are hard to get rid of.
And a dead eye shot. Another incumbent statewide official and Hispanic politician who grew up on the Southwest Side, like the former alderman of the Southwest Side, Cardenas, is incumbent Illinois Comptroller Susana Mendoza, who is stepping down from comptrolling. And she announced recently that she's running for mayor. And she made that announcement in her little village neighborhood where she will grow up. So she won't have a clean shot at being the favorite son or daughter of the Southwest Side. She tried the sporting activity approach in her last and quite unsuccessful run for mayor back in 2019.
I don't think anyone has anything to
Soccer.
say that.
She was just playing soccer.
It's just
Well, she also has been pretty aggressively attacking the mayor on public safety issues and other competence issues. So let me ask you this. Is there anything more Chicago than just leaping past the statewide and federal elections in November and just talking about next year's mayoral race, Eleni?
Yeah, I mean, what's there even to really care about for November in Illinois? I mean, we kind of already know how it's going to go. So we don't really care. Like, we know what's going to happen, and we do care what's going to happen for the mayoral race because we've had some rough rides in the last few years, and there is a lot to pay attention to in regards to who is going to be standing at the end of this. And like I said, waiting to see if Alexi's going to enter the race because that's going to dictate a lot of what these other idiots do. I'm sorry to say, but what these other people do. I'm sorry if I got disconnected.
Well, with that dial-up system that you have at your headquarters, it definitely creates a sounds terrible vibe. But I think we get your point that it's really too early, but we just can't stop talking about it because it's going to be competitive by lots and lots of people. There are other people talking about throwing their names in. We've got lobbyist John Kelly who keeps discussing this with folks. We've got Liam Holberg and Joe Stanton, or is it Joe Holberg and Liam Stanton? We've got Congressman Quigley also kicking the tires on this. And, friend of the pod, Bill Quinlan, has also quietly talked about this. So I would guess that we might need one of those accordion CTA buses to transport all of the candidates to the debates whenever they happen. Anyway, we are true Chicagoans. We downscale our office and our attention so that we're focused on next year's mayoral race. Perhaps that means that if we're going to keep the basketball analogy going, Natalie, Governor Pritzker is the Harlem Globetrotters, and Darren Bailey is the Washington Generals. I don't know. Is that, you guys can Google that. Well, we might as well, since this has been a pretty terrible conversation, Producer Grace, just jump right into Sounds Terrible. So I nominate Patrick to make up for last week's really terrible, Sounds Terrible performance where he live on the air seemed to be suffering a synapse. Are you prepared this week to talk about something that sounds terrible, Patrick? Could you write it down on some post-it notes?
And I just appreciate it because I think actually, if I recall, I had a home improvement issue that I was also going to discuss, but Rachel had also covered that. Then I commented on it. I didn't want to, for our production quality, I didn't want us to be rowing in the same direction. It most certainly was not a
What had
senior
happened
moment.
was,
Yeah, exactly. But so I did my homework and I appreciate First Call today. Looking forward to cheering on the USA men's team in the World Cup after their exciting start to it all. Two, what I find fascinating is the nice gentleman from Germany named Freddie, who is getting invited to every American hotspot by every American business. Viral sensation Freddie going all over the place. Unclear if he has had a chance to visit a Wally's yet, but I believe Buc-ee's and other folks are quickly reaching out to him to experience that. But all joking aside, the excitement for Europeans to discover things such as a 120 pump gas station are quite amazing to see occurring on the internet. But to bring it back to Illinois politics, it is a little sad. 11 U.S. cities are hosting the Cup. We are not. I know there were decisions made not to do it. But at a time when we're questioning if we can even keep professional sports franchises in town, it is a little frustrating to see cities like Atlanta, Boston, Dallas, all of them making public improvements to welcome world travelers. Those improvements will sustain themselves for the betterment of folks for a long time. So I'm looking forward to watching the continued World Cup. Sad it's not occurring in Illinois because it seems that all we invest in is the managed decline of our public infrastructure systems.
well, that decision,
Tour on that was
To me, at least a passing grade this week.
yeah, Natalie, former Mayor Emanuel,
never
was-
misses an opportunity to
Yeah,
remind people how brilliant he is. It was amazing.
he showed
He's
FIFA.
everywhere.
He stood up to FIFA and told everybody about it in recent days. Rachel, what sounds terrible to you?
So everyone likes a kid story. My sounds terrible for this week is my own parenting. So my son recently started preschool or camp at the Catholic preschool. He's 3, that he's going to be going to starting this fall. And we decided it was probably finally time to occasionally take him to church, which we have been incredibly delinquent in doing in his life. So we showed up Sunday morning at the same parish that he's going to. My husband grew up Catholic, I did not, so this was an eye-opening experience for me in a few ways. But thought we'd give it a shot. Brought markers, kept him busy for about 20 minutes, and I thought we'd been there an hour. When I looked at my phone and realized we were only 25 minutes into a 60-minute service, I was deeply concerned, and that's probably for good reason. Because as we got to about the 40-minute mark, my son leans over to me and he goes, "Who's God?" And I was like, well, just keep listening, just keep listening. And about 10 minutes later, he goes, "I don't like God." That's loud enough for the people in front of us to hear. So we have a little bit of work to do in figuring out how to allow him to enter a church again without being struck by lightning.
That's amazing.
So,
My own parenting sounds terrible this week.
I can I support you all the way. Like I'm with you. We sent both our kids to. I was raised Presbyterian. We sent our kids to a Lutheran preschool down the street. Wonderful, lovely place. But before Charlie went to school, we pulled him aside and said, "There's this guy named Jesus. You need to hear about him." So we just had a quick primer, and then he got real into it. Got a children's Bible and everything. But
But like later in the
yeah,
day, we were trying to kind of explain it to him, and he just kept asking the craziest questions, like, "Well, where does he live? Does he live in
that's
a
reasonable
castle?
questions.
Can we go there?" Like, you know, yeah. So again,
So
my own.
raising a little,
I want
raising
to
a little
add.
baby atheist.
I want to add here, and if this could be my sounds terrible, and I had a different one that I'll say for next week, but I'm going to add here
Stockpile it.
because I think our listeners will appreciate this. So I'm all in the same parent train. I'm not religious, don't really care, whatever. They signed the kids up to go to Greek school this year, and it's at the church, right? So I had to explain, hey, it's like a first week. I'm driving them over there. I'm like, hey, on occasion, you're gonna have to go to church. It's this place here that has icons in it, whatever. And I said, and in the Greek church, you take communion at your baptism. So like that's your communion. You can take communion whenever you want. So I said to them, hey, they might ask you to take communion if you would like. And they said, what's communion? And me being who I am, I was like, it's the blood of Christ. And so I had two screaming kids that I was dragging into Greek school saying, I don't want to drink the blood of Christ. Okay. And like that parent is staring at me and they're like, I don't want to drink the blood of Christ. And occasionally they'll bring it up. I'll be like, hey, like 6 months have gone by, right? Like they've gone a couple of times. I'm like, hey, they might ask you again if you want to take communion. And they're like, we do not want the blood of Christ.
Oh God.
Right? So pretty terrible there too.
So, I'm guessing we're not going to get picked up by the Vatican network.
Yeah, I'm pretty
with
sure the
this
Pope's
episode.
not coming on as a special guest anytime soon.
Or Greek school or the East Bank Club. None of them. Or the Lutherans.
Oh God.
This guy named Jesus.
I just heard that Gen Z is all about the horror movies, so maybe you will have inspired your younger Gen Z or Gen Next or whatever the heck your kids are to be fabulous horror film movie makers in the future with that horrifying story. All right, top that, Natalie, in terms of sounds terribleness.
I have like a terrible anecdote about summer camp and puppy issues, but no, I can't.
That's a pass.
Yeah, I'm out.
Well, well, sort of maybe this is a good segue. It's a little bit in the category of it's all fun and games until a robot replaces you. So the Chicago Tribune had an editorial the other day about a woman from Chicago named Graciela De La Torre who developed chronic pain while on the job working at a freight company. And so she filed a disability claim. And there was a fight with her insurance carrier. So she hired a lawyer. The lawyer got her a settlement. Case was closed. But this is America and we have AI. So why not see if your lawyer is lying to you that this is a good settlement? So she went to ChatGPT and according to the Tribune, the editorial page, she asked, is my lawyer gaslighting me? And the ChatGPT said, yes, he is. And then ChatGPT performed extensive legal research and drafted piles of legal documents that enabled her with no lawyer to launch a multi-pronged effort to set aside the binding settlement and revive her claim in federal court. And so now this got to a federal judge who has to read through all these filings from the AI slop. The Nippon Life Insurance Company of America has sued OpenAI in response, saying that ChatGPT was practicing law without a license. And so now ChatGPT's fake lawyer has hired a real lawyer to go against the insurance company lawyers. And there's a whole lot of billing going on. The insurance company said that the rogue AI robot masterminded her campaign to improperly challenge her settlement, and so far it's cost $300,000 and running to contest this case. And OpenAI fired back that ChatGPT is not a lawyer and doesn't claim to be one, and that when Delatorre agreed to the user agreement, the fine print we all click on, she agreed not to use it as a substitute for professional advice. So then the Tribune decided to ask ChatGPT, who's going to win this suit? And ChatGPT told TribGPT, quote, it's impossible to predict, but then went on and did a risk analysis to give a, quote, clearer picture of who might have the edge. So ChatGPT has learned how to hedge. Its risk assessment showed OpenAI has a 57.5 chance of prevailing in the lawsuit. So ChatGPT predicted that ChatGPT would win. Lawyers are being replaced by robots. Robots are predicting robots will win. Eleni's kids don't want to drink the blood of Christ. Rachel's kids want to know where God lives. Patrick is sunning himself on the Naperville beach. That's pretty much terribleness all wrapped up in a bow. That's our snapshot. If you're looking for something terrible, you've come to the right place. It's Can't Wait, sounds terrible. If you're looking for information on how to really shoot the basketball, I would direct you to the Giannoulis social handles. But that's been another edition of Can't Wait, sounds terrible for Eleni, Patrick, Rachel, Natalie. I'm Dennis, producer Grace spinning the dials. We'll see you next time.